Welcome to Rob Arguing, everybody. Yeah, burping in our shirts. I'm joined by conservative twink pundit Lewis Moulds. Everyone.
I hate this.
Which part bothered you? The light going out, the conservative, or the twink?
Both parts.
Everything.
I've
but
elevated to otter at least.
The what?
I've transcended twink status at this point.
Yeah.
Surely I've gained enough
mass.
Yeah. Is it a mass game or is it a aesthetics game?
I think it's a bit of an aesthetic thing. I was an otter at one point in my existence. Not that I was a homosexual, but
right. Just
that
the
in
body
designation
type,
physically.
Because gay guys are the ones who actually like think about like bodybuilding in a serious. Like gay guys are the most like casual bodybuilder types.
Yeah, I think that they probably appreciate.
Because they do all drugs and they do the peptides as well. So gay guys are in like really good shape quite a lot of the time.
Yeah, well, listen,
some schlubby ones, but
there's a like a physical need to be in shape. They fuck a lot. Like that's a very active, and also like gay guys fuck publicly so much that I think that there's a large pressure to look great because like I'll say my girl dragged a mirror into the bedroom in a place last night to like not even for banging, it was like to like for massage, like to watch. It was still like nudity, but she like massaged me, but like watched me while massaging me.
Who's a mirror?
Very good. But it was like there was just, and then I massaged her, and there was times where I looked at I was just like, can we fucking move this thing out of here? Like, and I don't even hate how I look that much. Gay guys, like, the amount of places, because, like, that's the thing about being gay, right, is that
the math helps.
You're so into fucking things at that point, being two gay guys, that as you're fucking the thing you're fucking, you're also, like, kind of advertising to other guys about fucking them as well. So, like, you have to be in shape because it's not even, the end game doesn't even end.
That's another world completely.
You know what I mean?
This
like,
is so alien to me.
Like, they're fucking, while they're fucking, already thinking, like, I better look good while I'm fucking.
Who else am I going to fuck after this?
Might want to fuck after this.
Because they don't come, right? They just take meth and they just fuck for 12 hours and they just don't come.
That I'm not as
but they don't eat as
into.
well because it suppresses your appetite, so you can, like, just not
they don't eat,
so
they're
you're
not
all, like,
coming.
ripped.
Very good. This should be how this always goes. Let's leave Sanko to just observe and
I much prefer this.
Yeah.
But yeah, you said they're anorexic, most of them?
They just don't eat. They get ripped.
I think he's saying that gay people like uppers.
They like uppers, but they also like they can starve themselves, you know, even if they're not upper guys, but they often are.
Also, I think it's easier to stay in shape single. And I think that gay guys stay single longer. And so, like, because when you're single, like, the idea of making an entire meal, often you're just kind of like, fuck it, I'll just have an apple or I'll just have whatever.
Yeah. They can do, like, boy dinner, which I guess would be like sardines.
Yeah, exactly.
2 tins of sardines,
sticks.
nothing else. Yeah.
Whereas, like, like it just became gay diet advice for some reason on this episode.
Well, you know, but girls like to eat pasta and stuff. You've got to get rice on. You know, I have to get rice on all the time.
Yeah,
and
that's specific to you.
Yeah, but, you know, some girls are rice girls, some are pasta girls, some are salad girls.
Italians girl.
You either marry an Italian or an Asian. There's only 2 kinds of carb.
Yeah. Yeah, racially, everyone is either white or black, and everyone kind of just fits into that.
Yeah.
But for women, it is specifically you're either Asian or Italian.
Yeah.
Or Eastern European. That's its own thing, too, where you're like a cunt and not good at stuff around the house.
Potato ones,
yeah. Like, you accept... That's Eastern European women are confusing because they have all the traits of those ones, like... They, like, on appearance, like, Eastern European women will convince you they're, like, for the home, and you can beat them, and you can beat them. That part, they keep traditional, and you can beat them a lot, way more than Italian women or Asians. Italian women or Asians will be fed up, even the fake ones or whatever, will be fed up with a smack-in at some point.
You're talking East Asians.
Eastern Europe.
Because Middle Eastern women are technically Asians, but...
Yeah, they'll
take quite a bit.
They'll take a beating.
Yeah, sure. I almost fit them, but Eastern Europeans and Arabs, they're more
Closely culturally
like
related.
Assyrian, we'll call it the Assyrian region.
So the more west you go, the less you can hit them, kind of.
Yeah.
Try and hit
I'd
a
say.
Portuguese woman.
Yeah, Schultz used to have a bit about this where all the cultures with good food, you could hit your women. But it's like, I don't know, man, go to Slovenia. Like, I bet you there's a couple
Hey,
countries.
I like pickles.
You know, yeah,
I'll
it's-
make the sacrifice.
Like, I was like, I'm pretty sure you can beat the balls off women in Hungary. But you will remain Hungary in Hungary, so...
Yeah, I do think if you like pickles, it's a perception thing. So he likes pickles.
I like
so
pickles.
to him, every country in the world
Good for
you
your
can
gut
beat their
health.
women because he likes all countries' foods.
I don't think a lot of countries have good pickles.
True internationalist. Oh, no, only some countries have good pickles. Polish people appreciate a good pickle. Some countries don't really appreciate pickling as much.
Eastern Europeans love pickles.
They love a pickle, yeah.
No, like African pickling, I don't think.
They're not pickling.
Yeah.
It's a Indians pickle. They grow a lot of the gherkins from there for a lot of the pickles we eat. So
That's different, though.
yeah, I don't think they actually.
That's
pickle
just
there.
farmland.
Yeah,
that's
then
not
that is
necessarily.
farmland.
Yeah.
You're right.
No, they also grow a lot of the shit that Bill Gates turns into water, but it doesn't mean it's part of their
True,
culture.
yeah.
You know.
He loves his shit water.
I assume that you're a particularly anti-Bill Gates guy.
Yeah, I don't really fuck with him. He he's involved in all kinds of weirdness. The rich guy stuff that is just being obsessed with Africa, being Mr. Charitable, which is always like a bit of a red flag because the
See,
charities
this
are,
But if you're,
the foundations are a way to sort of not
but
hide your money
as a
from taxes.
right-leaning guy,
Sure.
if you don't love the charities and you also don't want to redistribute the wealth, how do poor people not die at that point? Like, what's the strategy for them not dying? Because you kind of have to pick charities or redistribute the wealth to some degree.
I don't know. I guess we've got to like,
Or is it just fighting in the streets with sticks?
yeah. We got to go back over there and help them colonize it again.
Yeah, but we don't...
and just administer it, but like make sure they have like a say. There's probably a way that you could do colonization 2.0,
Well,
but have it be we teach them some shit. We teach them how to like the students that come over and they learn from the universities. They got to go back and like bring the knowledge and like bring them up to a certain level of.
This is why, as a guy on the
of
left,
living.
I would say I've departed on a lot of free trade things. See, I'm a very strong Jeffrey Sachs guy.
Okay.
I like Jeffrey Sachs quite a bit. I read End of Poverty just coming out of high school, and like I think End of Poverty is still a brilliant book. And why I look less dubiously on the Bill Gates stuff. Bill Clinton said like the greatest thing towards global economic prosperity in the next decade will be Africa and all this Africa stuff was because like Africa was like a particularly odd problem, right? Like Africa's problem has so much more to do with like mosquitoes than we realize. Like we take for granted that we're just technologically far enough along. We think even that like, well, malaria will never be a problem here. But if we had a problem with malaria, it would also be a problem here. It's not because like Africans are retarded and they can't figure out mosquitoes. It's that every infrastructure project, like hundreds of people die from malaria as it's going on.
Yeah,
And like you have to constantly replace these people.
I think it is something to do with the agricultural like know-how, like knowing how to get the best out of the land. Because you did have like obviously the white farmers in South Africa. You had like Rhodesia as a sort of now Zimbabwe.
But how much of Africa is owned by Africa at this point? Like I think at this
quite
point,
a lot of it. But the Chinese like build ports and they have their own sort of like industry thing. There was that documentary where the it was about like the Chinese sort of like factories there, and they were like, oh, why didn't you learn from the like Belgians who came here, the Europeans that came here and built this infrastructure, because they couldn't like maintain it and they couldn't like keep it going. So you need some kind of know-how. You probably just need someone there to like teach people constantly how to like
well, and how interested were the
use-
Belgians in teaching the Africans while they were there, and how much did they just like?
There's
no real benefit.
Yeah, the Belgians were pretty cruel with a lot of it. Like if you talk to Africans, it's kind of interesting like how like the French and the Belgians and the Dutch are much more like harsh, whereas the British, they're not as like they're a bit more favorable towards the British. There's a bit of resentment, but it's like it's a bit more complex of like they appreciate being taught some shit, but it's also like a very you'll hear different things from people. Some are not actually that bad on the British.
Well, and I think the thing with the British is like, what was I would love to like be able to look at a map of the colonization of Africa, but I imagine African countries now look on it, especially at their neighbors, and probably go, what are the most affluent countries now?
Nigeria, Ghana, which were former British colonies.
That's probably a large portion of how they come to the conclusion.
Yeah.
Regardless of even how realistically, it'd almost be like the harsh parent. Even if you were the most brutal, I think that if your places were now the most prosperous, they'd probably forgive the brutality and go, well, maybe it's the harsh parenting that gave us the leg up in that situation.
There is that as well, because like Nigerians and Ghanaians are like pretty serious on schooling. So they'll like, send their kids to the UK to go. The more affluent ones will send their kids to the UK to go to school. Same with the Chinese. They'll have like a very sort of seriousness with like education and that. So yeah, they're pretty good. They do pretty well. But
and then the recolonization part of it, when I said like who owns Africa, I don't even necessarily mean by country. I mean more now, how much does Bill Gates own? How much does Monsanto own? And how much does whatever? And when you carve up all these places, at a certain point, you got to look at it and go, well, we can't really just blame Africa anymore. Like it sort of becomes a thing where it's like, well, it's being run like I've always, and this would never ever get done in a million years. But if I was to be the president of the United States and I was to look at how to have a positive effect globally, instead of tariffs, not that I'm against tariffs, but a similar idea to tariffs, I would say if you want to have the head of your company be an American company and exist within America, you have to hold your company to similar standards that we have as far as the minimum wage, environmental regulations. And again, not getting into overall, like, I'm not a big carbon credit fella or anything like that, but just simply, hey, don't dump a bunch of like lithium into a river. Don't go destroying other countries. If you want because we have to break these things up again, and as a consumer, again, I look at this very much as America, and in Canada as kind of goes along. But we need to like look at it as, hey, if you want to go do business over there and you represent us, you have to represent us in a way that you hold to the same standards. You can't go exploit another country, but then your basis is here where you get to be, you avoid all these tariffs. You get the largest consumer economy in the entire world at your behest and whatever. You would have to that's how I would regulate things the most. Because really globalization has done way more for these countries than colonization did.
I mean, their birth rate is through the roof. Like Nigeria has like our birth rate is like 1.1. I think that's probably like North America as a whole. Whereas like all these developing countries they're having a lot more kids.
Well, this is the thing though, and this is part of how I always defend Bill Gates, or a thing I will always defend Bill Gates on. Part of the things that he has said about Africa that gets misconstrued is Bill Gates said there are too many Africans, but Bill Gates is an autistic, like, scientist, engineer guy, right? Like, that's, he's not a linguist. So when Bill Gates says there's too many Africans, what he means is not, I want to go kill a bunch of Africans. What he means is that when the birth rate in Africa is particularly high, when the birth rate goes up, that's usually because the child mortality rate is low.
Yeah.
So they are compensating for their dead children with having more children. So when he says there's too many Africans, what he's trying to say is more African babies is kind of a sign that maybe things aren't particularly going well in Africa. And people have kind of taken that quote to be like, he wants to kill Africans, and he wants to black out the sun.
I understand that part of it, yeah.
So, like, the birth rate being there is bad. And if you look at where, and this doesn't just go for Africa, but how familiar with Jeffrey Sachs are you?
Not at all.
So Sachs's thing was, he essentially would go to countries after they left communism for the most part. He helped stabilize currencies for newly free market countries, essentially was the idea. So maybe that's leaving communism, maybe that's just a newly developed country that needs whatever, but so that basically your currency didn't fall into crazy inflation, but becoming free market.
Right.
He was there to basically like stabilize currencies. On a religious note, I always think it's kind of interesting what he said about Russia. Russia was like the one place he was not successful. He did Poland, which is right next to Russia, which ethnically considers themselves very similar, right? So he's like, why didn't it work in Russia when it worked in Poland the same way? And he believes the reason was the church, is that Poland had a strict, Catholic backing to it. And so people were less likely to devolve into cronyism and mobsterism in the way that when Russia became free market to some degree, they devolved into gangsterism right away because they were fairly secular.
Yeah, you could probably see that in West Africa as well, because the West Africans in Nigeria, there's a lot of Christians there, and then the ones in like the east of Africa is a lot of like Muslim sort of countries.
I honestly think
that might have something to do with it as well.
As a non-religious person, I think that probably an important part of starting a civilization is religion. Like, if you are going to be in the beginning stages of anything, you kind of want to have, and again, I'm not even trying to be, I have no problem with religious people. Having a boogeyman in the sky is sort of an effective way of getting the beginning of a project together. I think as things develop, it becomes less necessary, which is why Europe becomes so secular, and we're becoming so secular.
That's not doing well for Europe, though.
It's not. Well, listen, because eventually you get so far away from a project, you kind of forget what brought it together. This is why,
because you have to keep the traditions. You have to keep this sort of Christian morality. Because it's like, oh, why can't we just be nice to people? It doesn't really work like that because people are kind of inherently selfish, and having something like Christianity does kind of give a bit of a template for the law, as well as a lot of common law as well is a big sort of, that comes from I think it was the King James Bible, which sort of was the start of the parliamentary sort of system, and then the authority through the word of God as the higher authority kind of informed the law system that's here, and also in some African places and Jamaica and stuff.
I don't know that it's at this junction, I don't know that we need the rule book back in religion. I think we need the sitting in the same place every week for an hour, and every other part of our lives not mattering for that hour.
You can still deviate from it, but it's good to have a guideline rather than a rule book of this is how society should be. Men should marry women and have kids. If you deviate from that, it's still fine. But to have that as the kind of central thing of society, I think does work quite well.
You should have rules to break.
Yeah, because otherwise you get a lot of I was talking about this with my wife, and I was in the where I live with the hot tub and stuff, and there's the people that live there, they work for provincial government stuff, so I was sort of overhearing what they're talking about. And it's a lot of gay guys that live alone that have these jobs because they have nothing else. They're just
By the way, this is where the gay guys have these great bodies stuff is coming from. Is Lewis watching them in a hot tub, just angry.
No, these were not in shape gay guys. But
Okay.
these are the gay guys that kind of
I watched them suck dick for hours and not come in my hot tub.
They were not on meth. Trust me, they were.
All right.
Did not have the meth body, but they have the office worker body. The guys, these are the real Patrick Bateman. They're not in shape, but they have these, great jobs at these companies. There's a sort of gay mafia that runs the cutting edge of corporate competitive male achievement. It kind of used to be, family guys, family men with. They might still be gay, but they'll have the good job. But
they were pretending,
Yeah, they were pretending they were still gay, but they had the, wherewithal to have a family and stuff. So, I don't know, just kind of an interesting observation. Is it good that we have so many gay guys having these, positions of, jobs and stuff. Like, what are they doing with the money? They're going on holidays. They're not really. They're materialistic. They're just kind of chilling.
I wouldn't. As a gay guy, listen. I do think that there is something to be said about, like, you know, we never used to be able to elect a politician unless they had a family, and you could look at that one of two ways. You could go, oh, because we like this sort of nuclear family, heteronormative sort of thing, or you could look at it as, well, he has children, which means he has to inherently care about the future. And me and you and all three of us, we could say we care about the future, but there's inherently nothing making us care about the future. Do you know what I mean? Like, we don't have to. I'm not leaving anything behind currently that's life will be altered if we don't like do the right thing.
Yeah.
So I think the thing might not be so much that it's like, but like be gay and adopt. You know what I mean? If you want to be in. And
exactly. Yeah. That's my thing. Is like, what do you
have stakes in the game long term?
Have some sort of stakes in the game, because that's kind of the problem with the whole. It's like it's not. I don't really care what anyone, if someone's gay or not. It's like, what's the lifestyle? What is the goal? Is it just to like be good for yourself and like have a nice place and go on holidays, or actually do you need to think about something wider? Adopting a kid is a good shout, but you know, there's other ways that you can.
Yeah, you listen, but that's probably the best way. We got a lot of kids for sale.
Yeah,
like, and you got to think every kid you don't adopt is getting fucked and killed.
Right.
Like, so like, and I mean, that's listen. I don't make the numbers.
That's no joke. Like, I know a lot of people
getting
that are getting raped
and killed. Like, and they might not be getting killed directly, but they're setting themselves up for an early death.
Guys that I know 3 people that have been raped, all guys, and they're all just the worst people. I won't name them, but like they're really just you can't be. They're dysfunctional, alcoholic. They just like say weird stuff, alienate people, and it's like that's because they were raped as a kid. Like, well, and it's such a rape is such a problem.
Sure,
but just like affects. Yeah, it just has this like horrible.
That should be the clip for the week. It's just
rape is
like, rape is such a problem.
But you only think about it in terms of like, you know, a woman in a car park. You don't think about all the boys that get raped and are just like dysfunctional and horrible and like unlikable. You're like, fuck that guy, and it's like, yeah, he was raped. Like,
a lot of times by the ladies that then in turn got raped at a car park. It's really a big. It's not even one circle. It's a bunch of intersecting circles. But
the rape economy.
So that's a
circular rape economy.
Gay guys, yes. So Pete Buttigieg, if he wants to become president, should have to adopt like 2 kids.
I think they did adopt some kids, and then they had a call from the CPS because a lot of these gay guys do be raping the kids that they adopt. And that's another horrible.
You know, some of the not gay ones are also raping the kids, as you described.
But a lot of the
women, by the way,
sure,
mothers,
like,
not even. And I don't want to say rape necessarily, but like child abuse tends to come from the mother pretty heavily. Because, like, listen, we're all kind of the same. It's just, what do we feel that we have an inherent physical advantage over? Like, why are more men physically abusive than women in their relationships? Well, because we're physically stronger. So like that just is it, we feel there's a power dynamic there that we're going to take advantage of, which is why the mom tends to take that same power advantage.
A lot of domestic abuse in lesbian relationships as well.
Because it's a fair fight all of a sudden.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like, it's like
they can let it rip.
Yeah. It's the same thing as there will be a Me Too movement for women as soon as like after like 10 years or 15 years of these HR CEO positions going to women, it'll flip back around on them being just as awful as we are, because inherently it's power. But that's what I was saying about the church, is that like as a secular fella, like I would argue that this is why I take it so personally that they're ruining concerts and that they're ruining sports, is because I think that like this is the bread and circus that also kept us okay in a similar way to religion, where okay, I don't care if you're a Republican or a Democrat, you're a Green Bay Packers fan for 3 hours every week, and we sit in the cold and we appreciate the same thing, and we come together and we're not talking. It doesn't matter who you voted for.
Right.
It doesn't matter if you're this or you're that or whatever. And like that being chipped away on us is like just as shitty. This is why I hate, like I did a whole episode on Live Nation last week, or a long enough thing on Live Nation and how they're destroying the concert going experience, which is not like just frivolous. Like that does matter. Like that, it is bread and circus for a reason. You can't remove bread and circus from poor people. Like, it's bread and circus isn't supposed to be there for rich people. It's supposed to be there to placate the poorest people. So when you limit the access to the bread and circus from the poor people, you're asking for a problem. Like, they're going to put their energy into other places they have to get together that you're not going to like, ultimately. Same thing with sports. And I'm like very much, and you can talk to me on this from a Premier League soccer-y type direction. But like, I'm rectifying with. By the way, we'll put this half out as Rob was arguing basketball, because that seemed to work kind of well. If you look at the YouTube numbers, people like that. So, but as Lewis led me on to. But like, I'm starting to rectify with the fact that our sports aren't real anymore.
Yeah, that's like a tough thing to, because I'm a conspiracy guy. I see the ritual magic. You see the little like symbolism things, and just the sort of rigged nature of the World Cup.
And just the football. How many years in a row can this one? Can the Chicago Bears be? We have a middle linebacker that's really good, a running back, our quarterback's kind of iffy. He's never really the guy. The Pittsburgh Steelers, we're outside linebackers and we're whatever. Like, every team, the Detroit Pistons have been the bad boys 3 times in my life. They were the bad boys in the 80s. They were the Malice and Palace Pistons. And then this last iteration of Pistons had Ron Holland and Isaiah Stewart. Like, they were already heading towards another thuggery era. Like, how do the Detroit Pistons just happen to be that 3 times? And they play in Detroit,
right?
Where it likes blue collar, that likes what it's
the role that they play.
The New Orleans, the Saints.
What's that
Katrina
deal?
Happens,
right?
All of a sudden, the Saints win. But to stay in New Orleans. New Orleans Pelicans,
it's
the NBA
weirdly
franchise.
competitive as a league. Weirdly competitive.
The New Orleans Pelicans, the owner fucks off. The league has to own the team for a year. They can't find an owner. Well, who gets the first pick in the NBA draft? Ends up drafting Zion. Or was it Anthony Davis that year? I can't remember which first pick it was they got.
The draft pick's an interesting one.
Well, because why wouldn't they rig it? Like, what's the
true.
Once you hang out with enough wrestlers for a bit, and like, this is the thing, like, you go through this shit. Hold on, I'm just gonna. Hey, there's no open mic this week. I'm sorry, man. James is out of town, and we got bought out by a drag brunch or a drag queen after party. So you're welcome to stay for that. All right. Cool. I just next week I'll be back. Yeah. I just realized as you're sitting here, I'm like, this is for sure for an open mic that's not happening.
Maybe you want to get on the podcast.
Yeah. You want to jump on too? You got an opinion about
basketball guy?
Yeah. Because
colonialism, Africa, any topic really.
Well, I sent Sanker this clip this week. I think it's from 2023. If you could put the clip in at some point in the actual pod itself,
that helps me. That actually helps me.
I'm gonna put my hands like this clip.
Oh, okay.
Right there.
Steph Curry's here. This is Draymond. But it's a clip of the Warriors in 2023, and they're up 12.
Right.
And they're clearly going to win. There's 20 seconds left in the game. They're up 12.
Yeah.
The over-under for the game is 11.5.
Damn.
And so they get – no, excuse me. They're up 11. They get a foul, like, for them. A positive thing happens to the Warriors.
Right.
And Steph Curry and a couple other – Chris Paul, who I love, and another guy are on the bench, and they're like you can see they're dejected at the foul, right? Then there's maybe like 4 seconds left. Atlanta just kind of lobs a pass up. They chuck a 3, and they get the 3 that brings the score back down under the over, right? And they start going crazy on the bench for a 3 that was scored against them. Now, they didn't bet on the outcome of the game. They weren't betting on themselves to lose, which you could watch Terry Rozier, who did get in trouble from the league while he played for Miami. You can watch highlights where you're like, oh, you purposely lost. Like, Terry Rozier did it in the scumbaggiest way possible, which was bet not only against his own team, he clearly bet on his personal line. Like, he bet on himself to suck. And, like, Terry Rozier was, like, a legit NBA player at one point not far removed from his betting scandal. The Jonte Murray or Jonte Porter one, he played for the Raptors at the time. What he did was kind of just like, he was on a 2-way contract. He was barely in the league.
Right.
So he bet on himself. Why there is a Jonte Porter under bet that exists. Why a betting line will take a bet on this practical G leaguer anyways is fucking crazy. But the only reason he got caught was because Jonte Porter was the highest payout in the NBA that night. And they were like, why are people betting on Jonte Porter? Like, why? So he faked injuries twice.
There was stuff like that in the World Cup as well. Like, there was a game between like Switzerland and Egypt, and Salah got the ball and like scored, and like both sides were like, they were trying to play for a draw because it was like a group stage thing. It was like a knockout game. So yeah, there was a bunch of weird plays like that. And
like, why wouldn't it be?
Yeah,
you know,
right.
like first of all, we've lost the competitiveness in basketball. All these guys go to AAU together as teens, and they whatever, like they all know each other too well. This isn't like, I was showing Kennedy Malice at the Palace like yesterday. Do you guys remember Malice at the Palace? Are you familiar with this?
No.
So
You are. You'll
I mean,
Okay.
I'm sure it's a pretty famous moment. It's the Pistons and the Indiana Pacers.
Okay.
And Ben Wallace and Ron Artest, who later becomes Meta World Peace, they get into a shoving match. To break it up, Artest goes and he lays on the announcer's table to be a dickhead.
Right.
And one of the Pistons fans throws a bottle on him. So he goes into the stands to confront the fan. Now, he grabs the total wrong guy. Like, he just
hilarious.
grabs some fella.
my
Bill Burr has a great bit on it about how do you not learn when a 6'10" black guy's chasing you? You don't just stand there and be like, oh, this one's in 3D. Well, I also watched a Burr bit yesterday.
Okay.
So Ron Artest goes and chases. By the way, and it's not even Ron Artest's fault. Ron Artest got so much shit. Ron Artest did what he should have done, if it was the correct guy, is just stand over him and kind of scare the shit out of him. But as he's standing over there and staring the shit out of them, Steven Jackson comes up behind him and just sucker punches the shit out of him. Like, really rocks this guy's fucking head. Steven Jackson later suspended for bringing a gun to a club. So that's who Steven Jackson
Basketball
was
used to be
as a
awesome,
person.
by
But
the
that's what
sounds
I'm
of it.
saying. Like, and I had to explain to Kennedy at the time, I was like showing her all these players, and I'm like, none of these players will exist today.
Yeah.
Like, you don't get
Game's
basketball
gone.
players like
Game's
this.
gone.
There's just not, analytics drove them out. Like, Ben Wallace just rebounds. The
Same
league
with baseball
doesn't care
as well.
about that anymore.
When they look
And
at the
blocks.
analytics, and it just like messes up the
Yeah.
baseball field.
People care about blocks. Ben Wallace did block, yes.
Well,
so he might be able to stay in the
defensive
league
player
for
of the-
blocking. Yeah.
But no, you're right. You have to score a little bit.
Or simply block.
Yeah.
For some reason, blocks became more important than rebounds for teams. There was like something in the analytics that just bared out that rebounding just wasn't that important to people anymore. So they got away from it. Now, offensive rebound, this is getting really into the minutia of basketball, but offensive rebounds are something that we really care about. But defensive rebounds are just kind of looked at as like whatever now for some reason. Like, Kevin Love used to get 15 rebounds a game, and that's why we cared about Kevin Love. And then analytics happened, and they were like, can you stop being fat and stop rebounding and just shoot over there, please?
It gentrified the fatness of.
They've got the fat right.
players.
I mean, we
Damn.
have. That's why, like, Zion Williamson really is the greatest throwback basketball player. He impregnates OnlyFans girls. He doesn't stop eating. He doesn't.
yeah.
He tears out of his shoes. Like, Zion Williamson is a throwback.
very
The
cool.
Pistons should get Zion Williamson. He would be a perfect fucking Piston.
See, you have like sort of like some throwback players in football because it's very like systems based now. Like, it's like you have to be able to play in a system. There's no room for like a live wire maverick who's like, individual on the ball and like, does his own thing. Like, there was a few players like that. Like Jack Grealish was an example. He went from Aston Villa to like Man City, which is like a massive step up, like a record-breaking transfer. And he used to be this sort of like left wing, but he'd like drift inside, and he would just be like the sort of best player that would like, get this team a bunch of goals. But trying to play in a system under like Pep, he sort of lost his spark a little bit. And there's not really any room for players that are like sort of individual and creative. And even my team, like Leicester City, had a guy called Jamie Vardy, who was like, he worked in a factory until he was like 28.
Fun.
Really late to get into the game, but he would like drink Red Bulls before a game, and he would like taunt the fans,
Yeah.
and he would like do a bunch of shit. Like he would mock the like if the mascot is like a wolf, he would like do like a wolf howl when he scored against them. You know, cool shit like that.
Yeah, you need a lot of times. I think the only people left that room, like Nikola Jokic, went in the second round of the NBA draft for a reason. People didn't. It was squidding. It was fitting a square peg into a round, whatever.
Yeah.
And like you can kind of only be that if you're the best.
Yeah.
Like there's only really room to have those guys. Tyrese Halliburton, very unconventional basketball player. If he isn't the best player on your team, like he drives the entire offense for Indiana. But if he was to like not do that and you didn't run the offense the way that kind of works for him, Chris Paul was another guy this way. Like Chris Paul works in a bunch of systems, but it kind of becomes Chris Paul's system.
Right.
It's easier to do that in basketball probably than soccer, I imagine, because there's just
you kind
less
of do
people.
everything in basketball. It's kind of interesting how it's like you
Yeah,
have to,
you
like,
have to
block
play
and also
defense
like
as well.
shoot and
If you're the pure offensive basketball player is being driven completely out of the league. The same way just the rebounding guys getting knocked out of the league.
Right.
You can't just be that guy anymore. Ja Morant, Damian Lillard, they're both on Portland now, which is going to be hilarious.
Yeah.
But like those like small guard, Trae Young. Like Trae Young is a guy that even just a few years ago we looked at as like, wow, what an offensive engine, and he's so creative and he's so whatever. But now we look at him and go, but he's going to get attacked on defense every time.
Yeah.
And like it is incredibly hard to compensate for that like huge weak spot. now.
Football has a similar thing where the defenders now sort of like become like wing back. So a guy who was like back, like booting the balls out, it now has to kind of like come up and almost be like a winger and score goals. Like the defenders now have to like score goals.
To me, the easiest job in soccer is the defender.
It should be, yeah. But
'Cause
now it's like a whole new thing. Where
But
you
they
have
should
to,
be
like,
adding
advance
responsibilities. Like
Yeah,
I
for
feel like
sure.
a defender in soccer is like, because it's so easy to make the team not score. Like, I mean, making a guy
You can
not
make it so
score in
boring
soccer
so easily,
is crazy easy. So like, I feel like you could throw me on defense for like Algeria and like you wouldn't really notice. You know what I mean? Like whoever the Algerian defenders are now.
Yeah, you could be
put
Project
me
Reliable
in,
right back for sure.
I'd probably be fine. Give me like a couple months to concentrate on cardio instead of lifting, and like I'll probably be okay. I've been going to Sky Zone a lot recently. I'll be all right.
Nice.
Doing the trampoline route. Sky. It's fantastic cardio. Are you kidding me? Trampoline parks. If you want to get ripped fast,
Interesting.
trampoline park and those Sky Zones, the cost of one visit is this is how they get you is the cost of a month and one visit is exactly the same. So you sign up for the month and then you try to remember not to. So we've gone twice this month. We're gonna go one more time so we feel like we really got our value.
Sure.
And then we're canceling. But yeah,
That's a good model.
yeah, it's so like watching things like that, and it's only getting worse.
How
with
does
the
this help Africa, though? We didn't solve Africa.
Yeah,
Have the
well,
league, if you get relegation to the NBA, you have to play in Accra, Ghana.
I think that
That's a good idea for you.
Listen, first of all, there is not a terrible idea.
You got to do a Morocco game.
What you should do rather than that is like it would be wise. You know, Masai did NBA Africa, right? And but like put development into those teams down there. Like
Yeah,
actually
that could help
create.
them.
Like forget the NCAA. You've ruined college basketball forever.
Right.
Like college basketball is so bastardized. It's not. Everybody went. You have to pay them, but nobody actually thought about the consequences.
Right.
These guys jump all over now. They start with a small team. They become the star of a small team, and they go, who will pay me to jump to a big market team now? And you don't get these like, this guy played 3 years. You lost all of it.
And what are they
It's
studying
done.
as well?
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like
they're studying like it'd be funny if they're studying like gender studies also.
it's all over. So like, and you're already getting it to where like,
Think about your degree.
not every draft, but there are certain drafts now where you look and you're like, 6 of the 8 top guys didn't play in the NBA. Like they didn't play in college basketball. Like it'll be a bunch of Europeans. Then now also the guys can just go to the G League and get paid there and play like semi-pro ball in America. Like the whole thing is fucking wash. So go like the NBA. If instead of expansion, I was very pro expansion in the NBA, and the only reason is because
You mean
I'm
like
a
more
dork.
more cities
And
having teams?
I just like expansion drafts. They're fun.
Yeah.
You know, like, oh, I got to protect 8 guys. I'm a dork. I like dork basketball shit. But it's not actually good for the product ultimately.
Does
'cause-
Des Moines have a team?
No. Well, I mean, I don't know where Indiana is based, actually.
Iowa. Des Moines, Iowa, I mean.
Or excuse me, Iowa. Yeah. But Indiana kind of covers a lot of that shit for
Oh,
them.
true, I guess,
You
yeah.
know, like they're like Iowa's.
in that little-
Iowa's a great basketball, but listen. Eventually, you might have to because Iowa forever could be like, we care about the Hawkeyes. Like this is whatever. Honestly, they're probably okay. Just like
They need something there. It's very flat and boring.
they should move the
They have a
Indiana
Culver's.
Fever.
That's it.
They
They have
should-
Culver's and cheap gas.
They made a mistake putting the Fever, the WNBA team, in Indiana. They should have just put the Fever in Iowa.
Yeah.
And just continue, like, let Iowa, because they have a basketball tradition in Iowa.
Yeah.
So let it continue with the chicks. And it's perfect because it's white chicks. Like that are just getting clobbered by black women. By the way, on this Ines Kanter and the other guy thing, right? With the 2 former NBA players that are declaring for the WNBA draft. Let me say a couple things about this. First of all, just let them. Like ultimately, like if you're tired of hearing this trans in sports things, then fine. Just let them. And like for a couple of reasons. One, if you think you're right and there is no difference in the physicality of the genders, then great. Prove your point. I will happily watch Angel Reese and Ines Kanter rebounding against each other. I mean, they're literally carbon copies. Like they're the same player.
You know what I'd rather see? I'd rather they spend $10 million to get the Lily Wachowski all trans sci-fi film off the ground because she
Do
can't,
that too.
She can't get
Do it
funding
all.
for that. But that I don't know. I think like you should kind of stick what you're good at. Trans people are good at house music and sci-fi fiction.
Sure, yeah.
I want to see that. You know what I mean? I don't
just-
need to see the basketball thing, but I would like to see. Like 10 million that's a micro budget for a film, right? That's hard
Incredibly
to
micro budget.
That's hard to shoot.
I believe Kevin
any
Smith
film.
made Mallrats for $6 million after he
Yeah.
made Clerks for $28,000.
Like
But
with-
Mallrats was like an actual budget.
Yeah, like it's still hard to do that, but kind of crazy that she can't get it because it's apparently the all trans cast isn't like enough for the studios or something. But
Promise you, it's because behind the scenes they're probably a fucking problem. Like they're
that's what I suspected.
doubt very much.
But they made The
that
Matrix,
They're just, you know, but like at a certain point, lots of people make good movies, and I think at some point,
because that's just like one of the things where I was like, well, if it was just like the average libtard writer director, I'd be like, all right, fair enough. But the fact is, Lily Wachowski, I'm like, all right.
Yeah, but the fella that
We
made
gotta let- we
Boondock
gotta let him
Saints
cook
could never
on
make
this
another
one.
movie again. Fucking the guy who made Donnie Darko got Southland Tales, and that was it. He got one other shot.
What was his deal? Like, was he just difficult or just
Probably just a kooky dooks. And, yeah,
He
it's
probably saw
enough,
some
thanks.
producer getting sucked off by a kid.
He
It
was
was like
you know, and so like, but I think with the Ines Kanter thing, let him play. First of all, is it corny? Let me say right off the bat, is incredibly corny. It's super corny of both of them, but let them call the bluff,
right.
draft them, put them on your fucking team, and let's see how it goes. Because one, what's the major complaints about the WNBA? Like, first of all, is this a publicity stunt?
Not enough
Yes.
viewership.
What does the WNBA need more than anything?
Dunking.
A fucking publicity stunt. Like, it needs a publicity stunt. The attendance through the roof if Ines Kanter's playing. Viewership through the roof. You want to get these bitches more money? Sign up Ines Kanter, because I guarantee you they all make way more money in their next TV deal.
Make it
if they're-
WWE. Just make it wrestling.
If it's
yeah.
all that anyways, these bitches are clobbering each other and then going white privilege.
Let's make
it's
it-
crazy. Like they call each other out, they cheat on each other, and then make public statements about it. It's already crazy. So like let it go full batshit. Like there is no reason to
idea.
not let it go. That's if we're trying to appeal to women. This is what they want. They
Do it
want
all in Africa.
drama. Yeah, then also send them to Africa also. But like this is what they want ultimately. Let them have it. I said this years ago. I think I said this 2 seasons ago. Let Caitlin Clark go full MAGA. Like, just if she's gonna be the white lady everybody hates, put a red hat on her and sell the place out. Like, what are they doing? And then they drafted the pretty fucking blonde lady now. You've got the whole thing. Like, just be MAGA. What is the point of this? Like,
hey, I'd watch it.
And like
good.
this is where it's going anyways. Jared Kushner's brother just bought the Lakers.
No way.
I swear to God, Jared Kushner's brother just bought the Lakers, and it's even worse than all of that because it was like, so we had
who owns the WNBA? Because the guy who owns the NBA,
the NBA owns the WNBA.
Oh, okay.
So
it's the same bold
so all
guy.
the owners own the NBA,
Yeah.
and then the NBA itself as an entity owns the WNBA. So there are no individual owners. There are ownership groups, but I imagine that would just be paying into like a stock situation.
So for the teams, it's like groups, or is
Yeah, it's all groups.
Oh, interesting.
I don't believe they have, and they just give out ownership like stock.
Right.
Like literally, I think they just gave some to Kyle Lowry because they felt like it. Like recently, like he just has part of the tempo now. Because like you also understand when you own a company like that, like Kyle Lowry owning stock in it. Who was the other celebrity? I think Serena Williams owns part of the tempo, but it's like she doesn't make any decisions.
Right.
Is like Bitcoin, right? Like owning part of the tempo is like owning a cryptocurrency. If you give it to rich people and they act like they care about it, now it's worth more.
Right.
So like actually just dumping the cryptocurrency in their pocket actually made the Toronto Tempo more relevant and worth something to everyone else who also owns that coin, unless you give too much of the coin away, blah, blah, blah. So like, I believe that's the way it ultimately, so like the men need to step in and be like, we have to fix this for you. And like, we'll make your league more fun. Here's a 6'10" fucking guy with one eyebrow that's going to fucking rebound against you now. And like, let's see how that goes. And if it's a disaster, you stop. Like, let's let them foul the guy like he's a white lady. Like, they already let them do whatever they want to the fucking Caitlin Clark. Just foul the shit out of an Escanter. And like, if you can't stop them at that, then yeah, sorry. It turns out there's a difference between the genders, and we kick them out of the league, and we stop talking about it. Like,
we just try it out.
I'm always for social experiments. If Peter Thiel wants to create a libertarian island off the coast of California, please do. Like, everyone just invest and make your own kooky bullshit and prove it. Like, this is what one of the best documentaries is Beyond the Curve. Not only because the thesis of it is good, it is also because you got to watch the flat earthers take their time, put their own experiment together, and go, shit, that didn't work. And like, sure, it doesn't fix it for everybody, but it allows us to go, okay, there you go. We gave you your thing. We did your thing, and your thing doesn't work. Is that okay with everybody now? And we just move on as whatever. None of us want any of this to be solved. None of us want anything to be solved. On whatever side you're on,
more chaos.
You have no interest in your shit being solved, or else you would just do it. Like, I remember, I have this, one of my great regrets was during COVID, when I lived in Chicago during the Floyd riots. Like, I would show up to these protests, and there would be pallets of bricks at every fucking protest. Without a fail, there would be a pallet of bricks. And it wasn't us. It wasn't the protesters ordering a pallet of bricks. Somebody was putting those pallet of bricks there because if you want to ruin a liberal protest, you leave them to be violent. If you want to ruin a conservative protest, you have someone show up wearing Nazi stuff. And that's how you discredit either protest. But all it would have taken, simply, was one investigative journalist to go, where are the bricks coming from? Who's buying the bricks? How many brick companies could there be in the greater Chicago area that it would have just got someone with some gumption getting to the... And it
this is an old Soros and Sons brick.
Yes.
From the old...
And like, I could have from
this
the
is
left...
a Hungarian brick.
got to the bottom of it and gone, who's doing these goddamn bricks? So like that's all it takes.
Just got like a Star David on the bricks.
Yeah, like
it doesn't matter. What's on there? No, it doesn't matter.
There were no bricks. There wasn't even bricks there. All these windows had bricks in them to begin with. But like, we don't want to solve anything. The Democrats never cauterized the right to abortion because they didn't want to, not because they couldn't. No, immigration didn't get solved because they didn't want it solved on the Republican side, because it's a talking point. No one wants anything to be fixed in any way whatsoever. Nobody actually believes in their shit. This is why I like Thomas Massey. And I think Thomas Massey, even though I don't agree with a lot of his things, if he was the next president, I'd be like, fine. Because at least he lives, he built his own house.
Non-Israel governor, senator?
Yeah, from Kentucky.
Yeah.
But like, he's truly like if there's a vote, and what do we got? If there's a vote on the Senate floor and the vote went 259-1, he's the one. Like, he built his own house. He lives off the grid. He actually just does his bullshit. I just want to see that somebody does their own bullshit. Like, do you actually live the way you say? Like, I was much prouder as a liberal dude. I appreciated being vegetarian at that time because it was like a thing that I was doing purely as a like, I'm living by my thing. Like, I believe in a certain handful of these things, and I'm kind of full of shit if I don't do this. So, like, I'm using too much water. I'm using too many resources. If I just cut this thing out of my life, I'm like, I can kind of talk my shit because I'm doing what I have decided is the, like, necessary line to get to kind of talk my shit. Like, I like doing the things to be like, hey, I'm fucking trying, you know? And, like, a bunch of them end up being fake. You could have recycled your whole life and just been the most diligent
That's a big
recycler.
one.
And then you find out, like, my parents are the most diligent recyclers. And I just look at it when I go home for Christmas.
You just absolve
and I'm
karmically if you're doing the sorting.
Yes.
Yeah, my grandparents love the recycling. I think
because
that's
it is their little penance for their sins.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like, I use too much garbage. Let me clean the garbage for the garbage so that when it arrives at the big garbage, it's nice and
like, maybe you
clean.
could move into a smaller house instead. Maybe you could.
But none of these goddamn boomers, they'll all live in the same and whatever.
Maybe you could stop voting liberal.
My fucking dad will not run the air conditioning because he's like, oh, well, it's a high time if we can get away with it. It's like, first of all, I don't want your money when you're dead. So turn the air conditioning on. Spend the $5 now. I don't need it later.
I don't want to be sweating while I'm listening to you.
Take this out of my inheritance and put it into me not sweating when I come and visit you or freezing at Christmas. I would like to just climately enjoy myself. Like, they have like done this like, we're going to sacrifice in the stupidest fucking ways.
Yeah.
When it's like, just live in a fucking condo, you idiots.
Man, if I have a fan on when I'm at my parents', there's no air conditioning in the UK. It gets hot as fuck now.
Yeah.
They need to get air conditioning.
You guys have not, and you can't.
People
like,
die of the heat, but heaven forbid I put a fan on because it takes up so much, and it does not take.
Because
up
you
much
fucking
energy.
guys went. Stanhope has such a funny bit about how Hitler did you guys the favor of fucking flattening that place, and you just stubbornly built it back brick by brick in the same retarded way. Like, and you used lap and plaster stuff. Like, you guys do everything in the oldest way. So like to refit a Brit. Like, I know so much more about this now, having dating a person who worked in flipping houses. Like, to refinish a British house in comparison to like a North American house is so much more expensive. Like, it's a gut job. Like, you live in a land of gut jobs. And all your mortgages are up. You guys are so fucked. I'm going.
Really fucked.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go in next August.
The
and
price
spend
of
some time.
the price of groceries is about. You'll see the groceries are like better priced, but the price of like energy is just through the roof. So it's like it's kind of comparable in terms of like the client living standards. But you can also get different. You can get like nicer produce, like a lot more like locally sourced stuff. And
Well,
less
that's you have just less preserved. That's just
processed.
Europe, though.
Yeah,
but
in
that's
general,
just hey, that's regulation, dog.
You get nice like pasta and stuff.
As I get to know Lewis more and more, you hate everything that conservatives impose on your life. Like everything that like, why do you think that Europe's food is a higher quality?
The glyphosate, probably. I should do the RF. The glyphosate. Mostly the glyphosate.
It's because you have higher regulations on not putting preservatives in your food.
I'm for regulation. I'm not a libertarian in terms of food standards. I'm actually pretty. We should have I don't know. It's kind of fucked here because you have like the milk mafia, which means that you can't get like good dairy from Europe, and there's like a lot of like kind of communist like small, like there's only like 3 grocery stores, shit like that.
Yeah,
like,
that's fair. There's only like 3 in like.
Yeah, but I believe in institutions
But
in terms
there's only
of like
3
regulations.
grocery stores everywhere.
No, there's a lot more in the States. So there's a
Actually,
lot more.
look up who owns those grocery stores. Those grocery stores
Fair.
are the same grocery store with different names regionally.
Fair, but they do collude on prices. Like the telecom industry in Canada was like pretty bad. It's like Bell Rogers and whatever the other one is. So
Yeah,
it
but
used to be
that's-
really expensive.
But that's also
Telus
because like you
data,
actually have to
Telus,
put
yeah.
infrastructure in. Like
Nah, you have to put infrastructure in everywhere. You can still have more than like
no,
3
but I'm saying
companies.
like particular. Yeah, but that's why it's a very expensive thing to do.
Yeah.
Like running off of other people's infrastructure is
But don't they
inexpensive.
but don't they get subsidized by the taxpayer anyway for these sort of big infrastructure things? Isn't a lot of that kind of...
Yeah, but that's why there's only 3 because you gotta fucking be the one that are in the room to whatever. I'm not saying that.
fair.
Listen, lefty things end up in cronyism and backdoor deals, and there's things to be watched
You do need
there
to
too.
be a bit more like... It's always like a give and take with like industry and like government. You can't be too restricted, but also you need to like impose like very strict things where it is better for the common good.
I
So
think that there is just certain
I'm
things.
big on regulations for food.
See, listen, this would be my plan, and then we'll go. But I think I've maybe said this on the pod before. But this is my kind of my version of the Peter Thiel experiment. Is my thing that I take what's a major city that's isolated enough that we could give it up and do an experiment in it. Like I'm inclined to say Winnipeg.
Yeah.
But the only problem is it has to be an American city, I feel like, because they wouldn't take it serious if we did it. But like the feel's got to be Winnipeg. Like maybe Colorado. I think
Okay.
Colorado would be perfect for this, actually, because you got a lot of leftiness in Colorado, but they're kind of gun hippies.
Yeah.
Like they sort of have a libertarian like I think the circle you want to find on the circle where liberal is meeting libertarian, and Colorado is very good for that and fairly isolated.
Yeah.
So this is where we experiment with this, and I call it society, right? And so this is how it works.
Okay.
You can either opt into society or you can opt out of society. And so opting into society is taxes. It is a subscription service that you pay that allows you access to the roads, to healthcare, to schooling, to whatever like you normally would. And it comes with a substantial bill that comes with whatever. Now, if you opt out of society, you don't have to pay your taxes. You don't have to whatever. You get to just be a free man on the land. However, you pay regressive taxes for our services, like you would in like Florida, right? Like you can say Florida's taxes are low, but you drive for 4 minutes in Miami, you've paid $18 in tolls, right? Like there's everywhere taxes you. It's just regressive taxes.
Yeah.
So you do society. Now, if you don't want to use the roads, and you're perfectly fine. Just, you got your land and you fucking do
You're
your
hiking
thing.
everywhere.
And you do your thing. And you don't want to use society. That's fine. You will be charged literally $0 a year. You can grow your own food. We will leave you the fuck alone, and you can do your thing. If you impede on us, we have police that we have paid for in society that will
Try this
protect
with like
us from you.
Wacko or some Ruby Ridge.
With Waco, yes, but we didn't leave them alone. We bothered them when we should have went, you guys get all of this to do your fucking thing. And the second you step out of here, you're in society now. And these people can enter society. They can shop at our shops. They can use our hospitals. They can use our schools. But you pay a regressive tax, which would be higher, but because it's a la carte. Right? We're paying for a full subscription service. Say we're paying for Othership. We're paying for the premium membership. We
Right.
get all the things.
Yeah.
You're paying just for the sauna.
Single,
Right.
yeah.
So like the single use things end up, but you might decide, I don't want to send I'm not having a kid. I don't need to pay for school. I don't like to go into town that much. I could probably save enough on tolls, and I keep myself plenty healthy because I drink my own piss or whatever you guys do, and like that. And so I think it's a better deal for me to just pay a la carte for these services, but keep myself out of the system overall. You don't get to get treated differently. The laws aren't different for you.
That's the difference, though, because eventually there would probably be some tension between the societies and the non-society people. There'd probably be some weird sort of like social thing when you have like a parallel society where it's like they treat it as like a second class
But
citizen.
we already have that. We already have
Yeah.
that. Billionaires don't pay anything, and we treat them fine.
Yeah.
Like poor people don't really pay anything into taxes. We treat them fine. Like there are pockets of society we live with this every day. You don't wear like a different shirt. You know what I mean? Like we don't have a different sports team for the non-society. If you live in New York City, you're a Knicks fan still. You just don't get to drive to the fucking stadium.
But the
without
people
paying.
in the society would be, if you're on welfare, you'd have to stay in the society. If you've got the means to like be an independent guy, then it's pretty better to be out of society. So that kind of like you'd probably drain the tax base from the people that you need to kind of sustain, you know, who are on like welfare and stuff.
Yeah, I don't think that that's true though, because okay, so let's take Jeff Bezos as the example of this, right?
Sure.
So imagine Jeff Bezos took Amazon off. He owns Amazon, right?
Mm-hmm.
So imagine now Amazon is no longer part of society. So you get none of the tax benefit. So you can pay your no taxes as Amazon. But every time an Amazon truck goes across the country, you're paying our tolls. Every
Right.
time an Amazon worker, like now the Amazon worker gets their own individual choice in whatever, but those government subsidies, so say the
Wouldn't
Amazon
they just
worker...
build their own road though? Wouldn't they just create their own like?
Well, they're going to have to buy all that land.
But they could just do drone delivery. They could do like.
We'll find a way to tax them for the drones. You know what I mean? Like drone ports. You know what I mean? Like, well, but like...
There's like a sci-fi novel where it was like like in the future it's like wars between Apple and like Microsoft. It'd be like the corporations that own. So you'd have like it'd be like Mad Men or
But here's the thing.
Mad
Ultimately,
Max.
we don't need to punish them for
The Republic of
that.
Amazon. Like you're
Yeah, well, I mean, like, you know, but
I'm in the Publix Peninsula. We're getting
but if you
invaded by the Amazon drones.
don't want corporations using the government, because a large libertarian argument for why this is not technically free market and whatever is because these corporations then get
not
embedded
really
in
a
the government.
libertarian,
I
though,
know,
so I don't
but
really-
I'm talking about the
Yeah.
maximalist position.
Sure.
They would argue that it's the government in with corporations that bastardizes free market, which is why this free market doesn't work. And I can go with that argument. This removes the incentive entirely for Amazon to meddle with our politics. If they're allowed to operate completely outside the system, they no longer have to pay off politicians. They no longer have to rig elections. Like, what would be the incentive for them? They can just go, we're not part of this. So do we lose part of the tax base that Amazon pays? But Amazon doesn't pay their fair share already. So why not just let them pay nothing? But if they want to drive a car, it's $18 when you cross the fucking toll. It's whatever. You
Well,
know?
they don't pay enough taxes, but they do provide like jobs and stuff. So that's kind of like that's where they get their.
But that's, and God bless Jeff Bezos, as much criticism as he takes as a millionaire or a billionaire. I actually at least look at him as a guy who is a job creator in the sense, because how many of them are just making their money off speculation and don't create any jobs at all on average.
And it is a good
But-
service. They do get stuff quick.
Yeah, that's fine. You're gonna still. Listen. All of these companies have already found out AI is not replacing us anytime soon, and how much more expensive AI is than just simple Indians is like crazy. Like Indians are over here like we will do it for half
Yeah.
a robot. What are you doing? So like. They'll find out quick on that. Listen, I think if they find out the solution, if they can deliver things with drones, great. They're not actually using the service. Don't pay. Like, I don't care. We will find other things for people to do. This whole like,
But then they'll be taking up airspace, and that'll be another thing. It's
So-
like, well, technically we're in the air.
and we run, and society is part of the air. So
Okay.
do they have to pay an annual air traffic whatever fee for it? Yeah, then we get them on that, an air traffic fee.
I feel like it's like trying to stop drugs getting into prison. Like you can make it difficult for them, but they're very inventive.
But guess what?
They'll find loopholes.
Guess where drugs getting into places and whatever? When was Vegas fair?
Fair.
When the mob ran it. Because there was dignity. Because the mob would look at you and go, I'm going to cut you off.
Right.
I don't think this is good for you. I'm going to stop you right here. The
And it might also give you a room as well.
and a meal.
Whereas now it's analytics. It's terrible.
And these
Took the soul out of it.
This is to wrap up the sports point. Sports is only getting faker because of these, and you guys had it in Europe way sooner. Is these DraftKings and all these companies are only expediting the process of making this shit faker. No professional athlete should have been allowed to take a sponsorship deal from one of these companies.
True.
It's fucking Mbappe or whatever. That guy rules for turning that shit down. Like that makes me genuinely like him as an athlete because he turned that shit down. All right, we should wrap this up.
Yeah.
But give us one soccer tip to go. Who do you like for the next soccer season?
The next soccer season, I think Chelsea could be interesting in the Premier League. They've got Xabi Alonso.
Not so shabby Alonso, if you ask me.
He comes from the place in Spain where all the best footballers come from, so I think there might be sort of dark horses. But I don't know. I'm in League One at the minute. We're in the third division. I just hope Leicester doesn't get fucking evaporated.
Let me ask you this quick. I'm going to Portugal in November. Am I making a mistake going there instead of Spain?
Yeah, but Portugal will be a lot cheaper. So.
We're going to Lisbon because it's a shorter flight.
Yeah, Lisbon's cool. Spain's different though. Spain's still like ghetto compared to France. Portugal's a lot more ghetto compared to Spain.
See, I want that though.
Yeah, it'll be cool.
Yeah,
you get some seafood. You'll eat amazing food. You'll like it. Yeah,
Okay.
It'll be legit. I wouldn't make a trip to go to Spain. Maybe get like a Flixbus. Maybe you could go to I like San Sebastian. You could go to I don't know if Kennedy's into fashion, but you could go to the Balenciaga Museum.
Sure. Yeah.
Cristobal Balenciaga and it's quite interesting because it's kind of where.
Do they have the fucked kids in the museum? Or no,
this is like old antique sort of like. Right. This isn't new school Balenciaga. This is like
that would be weird if you went to a Balenciaga museum and they're like that.
The kid butts.
Don't bother with the Guggenheim in wherever it is. I forget what the place is called in Spain, but yeah, have fun though.
Cool.
You'll eat some sick food.
All right, that's Rob was arguing.